Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. So today is day 3 of our DevOps 0 to Hero 3 Hero course. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, day 1 and day 2 and also day 0, so you can watch them on the DevOps playlist. So I have created a DevOps playlist and I'll keep uploading all these DevOps 0 to Hero videos on the same playlist. So you can go back and watch the playlist and then come back to the day 3. And today we are going to talk about virtual machines, which is very important concept of DevOps. So if you don't know what is a server itself, then we'll also learn that. If you don't know the concept of physical servers, we'll also learn that today. And we will try to learn everything with a real world example. Let's say you watched a lot of videos on virtual machines and you still don't understand what a virtual machine is. So today I'll make sure that all of you will understand the concept of virtual machines with a real world example. And trust me, after this video you're not going to have any doubts on what is a virtual machine, why are they different from physical servers, why is it a overhyped concept, or I mean, is it a overhyped concept, or why there is a lot of hype around virtual machines. So we'll try to learn all of those things. So keep watching the entire video. Even if you know the concept of virtual machine, we'll try to understand this in a very real world perspective, so that uh, you might have missed something while learning about virtual machines, and I might cover those specific scenarios. So uh, yeah, I mean, let's proceed and try to understand what a virtual machine is, and we'll also see what is a hypervisor is, and we will talk about like how to create these virtual machines. Although we'll not create a virtual machine today, probably we'll do it in the next video, but we'll talk about like what are the different ways to create virtual machines, and like I mentioned, a real world scenario. Okay, so without wasting any time, let me quickly start with the concept for the day, that is virtual machines. Okay, so let's say, uh, I mean, I'm taking a real world. Is there a change in the speaker again? No. Perfect. So let's say you have a plain land. Okay, so I'm talking about a real world scenario. So don't get confused. Why is Abhishek talking about land or this kind of things? So if you put DevOps aside, let's say you have a plain land. Okay, you are in your village or you are in your hometown and you have a plain land. Okay, so now what you have done is, in this plain land you have constructed a house. Okay, so you took this plain land and you built a house around it. Okay, and maybe you along with your family members, you started to living in this plain land. Okay, so let's say this plain land is a 1 acre land. Okay, and in the entire 1 acre land you have constructed your dream house and you started living in this 1 acre land. Okay, so you are essentially using all the water resources, and you are also using the entire land. Probably you are you have built a park here, or you have a built a play area, and you are enjoying this 1 acre of land, and you are happily living in this 1 acre of land. Okay, so one sudden day what you realized was, okay, although you are just a family member, like you are 2 or 3 people or 4 or 5 people who are living in this 1 acre land, you all of a sudden you realize that, okay, I understood that I'm living happily or I'm enjoying this entire property, but I don't need this entire 1 acre. Okay, even though I have a built-in park, I have garden, I have everything, I'm still not using most of this land. Okay, so what you have realized is you only require half acre of this land, even to live lavishly, right? Even if you want to live very happily, you just require half acre of it. But what you are doing is you are only using half acre of it, and you are wasting this half acre. Okay, nobody is really using this half acre, and it is going unused. So what you have thought is, okay, let me come up with an idea and let me build the same 1 acre land. What you have done is, in this 1/4 of acre, or in this half acre that you have unused, what you have done is you have built another property. Okay, alongside with the property that you're staying. Okay, this is the property that you're staying with your family members, and what you have done is, apart from this, you have built another property and you gave this property for rent. Okay, so your comfort or your convenience hasn't changed from step 1 to step 2. Okay, in step 1 you have the same land, you are using the same property, that you are using in step 2. But in step 2, what you have done is additionally you have gained access to rent. Okay, so what happened is along with your lavishness or your property that you're using, you also got access to rent. Okay, so that means along with you there is one more person who is staying in the same property, and you are not interfering in one other things, right? So he is having access to this 1/4 or 1/2 acre of the property, and you have access to the remaining acre of the property, and nobody is disturbed, right? Because he has his own resources. Let's say he has built this park in 1/4 of acre. You have park in this 3/4 of acre. He has his own water resources. Nobody is interfering in each other. Like he is leading his life happily, and you're also leading your life happily. So now what happened was, instead of wasting these resources, what you have done is you have built another land, and instead of two people here, four people are living in the same land. That means now you have efficiently started using the resources. So this is inefficiency, right? Or this is inefficient way, and this is the efficient way. Okay, and if you are following my videos from day one, I'm always telling you that DevOps is all about efficiency. Okay, where will DevOps come into picture? DevOps will come into picture in improving the efficiency. So whenever you do automation or whenever you do DevOps, your end goal is efficiency. So this is the end goal. So that's why as a DevOps engineer, you should be looking at improving the usage, or let's say you're on AWS, or let's say you're on Azure. You should always make sure that you use your resources efficiently. So that's where the virtual machines come into picture. Okay, so I hope you understood this example. Now I'll turn this example into a real world software industry problem. Okay, so this is a real world problem. Now let's convert this into a real world software industry problem. That is, we take the same example here. Let's say there is a server. Okay, now firstly, for somebody who don't understand the concept of server, what is a server? So server is nothing but you want to deploy your applications, right? Let's say you have your application in your local laptop. Okay, so this is your local laptop, and you are a developer. You developed an application feature. Okay, you developed an application, and now you want to deliver it to the customer or real world. For example, today you're using google.com. Okay, or today you're using amazon.com. So all of these things are hosted on a public server, so that's why you are able to access these things. So that is nothing but a server. Okay, so inside this server, let's say that your organization, that is example.com, what they have done is, okay, so there is example.com, and what example.com has done is they bought 5 servers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So they bought 5 different servers. If you see here, they're of different sizes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they bought 5 different servers from HP. Okay, let's say HP is selling the servers. So what this example.com or the DevOps engineer at example.com or the sysadmin, okay, at example.com, what they have done is they bought 5 servers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from HP. Okay, so what happened is they deployed this application. Let's say we call it as app1. Okay, so app1 is deployed on server 1. Okay, now this app1, let's say it required 4 GB RAM. This is just an example. In general, applications might use less or less more GB, but let's say this application is using 4 GB RAM, and it is using 4 processors. Okay, 4 GB RAM and 4 CPUs. So now what happened is this server is actually of size 100 GB and 100 core, but you deployed an application of 4 GB and 4 CPU. Okay, and all your developers and testers are using this to test your application. Okay, you installed an application server, probably Tomcat or WebSphere or WebLogic, and you started this application on this server. But of late you realize that this application only requires 4 GB and 4 CPU, so you are wasting the entire resources. Okay, or there are 5 different teams in your organizations, and what you have done is you gave each and every server, like 1 server you gave for team 1, 2 server you gave to team 2, and 5th server you gave to team 5. You realize that these teams are inefficiently using these servers. That is, the team 5 has deployed application 5, but application 5 might only require 10% of actual resources that this server is providing. Again, if this server is 50 GB in RAM, and if team 5 only requires 5 GB of RAM, okay, what is happening? You are wasting the 45 GB. That is, you are only using 10% of the resources, and you are unutilizing the 90% of the resources, or you're not utilizing the 90% of resources. So there came the actual problem, or the big rock, that is inefficiency. Okay, so always I'm using the same word, I'm repeating the same thing. That is because DevOps is all about improving the efficiency. So now here the teams are underutilizing the resources, or they are not using the resources efficiently. So that's why the concept of virtualization came into picture. So now what virtualization does is, the concept of virtualization will, let's say you have this physical server that you bought from HP or IBM. Okay, primarily these are the players who sell the physical servers, or Microsoft, or anybody. Okay, so you bought the physical server, let's call it as server 1 from HP or IBM, and what you have done is you have typically I mean previously you just gave it to team 1. Okay, but with the concept of virtualization, what you will do is that on this one physical server you will install a hypervisor. Okay, what is hypervisor? Hypervisor is a software, okay, that can install virtual machines on your bare metal or physical servers. And what you have done is, instead of one server you have created 5 servers. Okay, what you are actually doing is you are doing a logical partition. Okay, you are not breaking this server physically, right? Like you don't take your laptop and you break it, or you didn't take a server and break it. Instead you do a logical separation. Okay, remember this one, I'm talking about logical isolation. Okay, so what you are doing is you are doing a logical isolation of these ones, and you are calling this as virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, virtual machine 3, 4 and 5. Okay, why we are calling them as virtual machines? Because they are only logical. Okay, they don't exist physically, so they are a virtual machine, so that's why we call them VMs. Okay, so in this case you added efficiency using DevOps. Okay, so what did you add? Efficiency. How did you add the efficiency? By automating the process using a hypervisor. What are some of the popular hypervisors? Okay, some of the popular hypervisors are VMware, Zen. Okay, these are some of the popular hypervisors. Okay, using these popular hypervisors, what you would do is you do a logical separation. Okay, you break this physical server into logical machines or virtual machines, and now instead of just team 1, what can, I mean, what happens is, team 1 can use virtual machine 1, team 2 can use virtual machine 2, team 3 can use virtual machine 3, and 4 and 5 respectively. This is advantage of using a virtual machine. Just to repeat, or just to make you understand, the concept of virtual machine is nothing but you are basically creating virtual environments that function as virtual computer systems. Okay, so here you are only breaking them logically. Okay, you are not breaking your physical server, but you are only doing a logical isolation. So that's why virtual machines are nothing but they are virtual environments which function as a virtual computer systems, and these virtual computer systems has their own CPU, has their own memory. Okay, and they also have their own hardware, right? So this hardware, or this VM1, is not depending on VM2 for either memory, it is not depending on VM2 for CPU, or it is not depending on uh, VM2 or VM3 or VM4 for hardware. Okay, so that's why they are called logical computer systems. They have their own memory, they have their own CPU, they have their own hardware, but the only difference is, instead of physical server, they are logical servers. And who is doing this entire process? Your hypervisor is doing this entire process. So hypervisor is a key that is dealing with your virtual machines, or a hypervisor is something that is creating your virtual machines. So for example, it's okay if you don't understand the concept of cloud, but just for your reference, the same concept is followed by Amazon, GitHub, Microsoft, or any virtual machine platforms, or any cloud platforms. So what these cloud platforms do is, let's say Amazon, what they do is they build their data centers. Let's call an area called Mumbai in India. Okay. So let's say there is an area called Mumbai in India. What Amazon does is, if Amazon has a data center in Mumbai, what that means is they buy, or they, they take a huge land, and what they do is they install their own physical servers here. Okay. They take all the preventive care, and they build a data center in Mumbai. This is just for example, it can be Mumbai or it can be anything. Okay. So they have their own data center in Mumbai, and what they do is they create, they install hundreds or thousands or millions of physical servers. Okay. I'm talking about physical servers. Okay. So just like your example.com has bought 5 servers, or they just, I mean, in the previous example, if you go back, so here I said example.com has bought 5 servers from HP, right? Similarly, what Amazon or any cloud provider do is they buy millions of servers, or they build their own millions of servers, and they put them in a data center. Okay, let's say this data center is hosted in Mumbai, and now whenever a user, it can be you, it can be me, or anybody who makes a request to Amazon and who select the region as Mumbai. Okay, if you go to Amazon, what you can do is you can basically ask for a virtual machine from Amazon or AWS in general, and in AWS you can select your region as Mumbai, and what you can say is I mean I want one virtual machine, or in Amazon terms we call it EC2 instance. Okay, in general it's a virtual machine, end of the day. Okay, you request for a virtual machine in from AWS in Mumbai region. What happens is your request will be sent to one of these data centers, and on one of these physical servers, okay, on one of these physical servers, a hypervisor is installed. In general, on all the physical servers, hypervisors are installed, and this hypervisor will create a VM for you, and it will share the required details. Okay, this is how the world of virtual machines operate. Okay, so the world of virtual machines operate on hypervisor, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Google, whether it is Microsoft using Azure, they all have their hypervisors installed on the physical servers. And whenever somebody is requesting for a virtual machine or EC2 instance, or in different cloud platforms, people call it in different ways. But if you take a general term called virtual machines, what happens is this hypervisor will give you a virtual machine from one of the physical servers depending upon the region that you have selected. Okay, so this is how you create virtual machines. If I just have to repeat this one, okay, let me just take a new slide. Perfect. So here, let's assume that there is a huge data center from a company called Amazon or Microsoft. Okay, there is a huge data center. Okay, let's take one simple example, that is AWS, and this region is called Singapore. In tomorrow's class, we will do it live. I'll show you how to create a virtual machine on AWS. We can also do it through some scripts. We'll do all the things, like, we'll create using automation, we'll create using manual process, everything. But in today's class, just understand the theory or the concept of it. So AWS has their data centers in Singapore. They have their data center in Mumbai. Okay. They also have their data center in US, let's say Ohio. Okay, and in different regions. Okay, wherever AWS feels that their customer base requires a new data center to avoid latency problems. What is latency? Latency is to avoid, like, let's say I'm in India and I'm creating a virtual machine in Ohio, and I'm creating a virtual machine in Mumbai. So in comparison, because I'm located in India, in Mumbai I'll have less latency. Okay, so AWS finds their potential data centers that are required, and they install their data centers. Now, let's say this is a data center in Mumbai. Okay, and what Amazon has done is they have installed racks. In general, servers are installed using racks. I mean, there are rack servers, there are other different kinds of servers. So what AWS or the AWS administrators have done in Mumbai is they have created multiple racks, and they have multiple physical servers here. This is just for an example or your visualization. In general, the concept of installing a data center is very complicated, but just for your reference, I'm making it very simple here. So let's call this as physical server 1, physical server 2, physical server 100. Okay. So these are the different physical servers that Amazon has installed in Mumbai. Now, each of this physical server can be 100 GB in RAM and 100 core, that is 100 processors. So being a DevOps engineer, what I have done is I have, so today I'm sitting in Hyderabad. Okay. And what I've done is from my personal laptop using some scripts or using a direct AWS UI, that is using Amazon.com. Sorry, AWS, not Amazon.com. Using the AWS portal, what I have done is I have requested for a virtual machine in Singapore, in Mumbai region. Okay, I have requested a virtual machine, and the specification that I have requested is 10 GB RAM and 12 core processor, let's say. Okay, I've used some automation, or I've manually, I went to the Amazon UI and I've requested for this configuration. So now what AWS will do is it will receive my request. Okay, AWS received my request, right? And now what AWS will do is it will look for the physical server that is ideal for my requirements. Okay, let's say P1 is already occupied. Now P100 is unused. Okay, and AWS feels that my requirement specification, like let's say P100 has 1000 GB of unused CPU, 10,000 GB of unused CPU, sorry, unused RAM. So this request seems to be very simple, and P100 is ideal at this moment of time. Nobody is using it, or AWS requirements are matched. What it does is it will ask the hypervisor that is installed on P100. Okay, there is always a hypervisor. So the hypervisor, AWS sends a request to the hypervisor to create this virtual machine, and AWS sends me back this virtual machine. Okay, what happened? AWS sent me back with a virtual machine. What does AWS send? IP address and all the required information to access this virtual machine. Okay, end of the day, I just have logical access to that virtual machine or a virtual access to that virtual machine. Physically, I don't own that virtual machine, even though I am paying money to AWS, right? Let's say for this requirement, I'm paying $100 to AWS. This is just an example again. I'm paying $100 to AWS. But I cannot go and ask AWS that where is my virtual machine? I want to go and fix something in my virtual machine. AWS will simply reject your request, saying that, okay, your virtual machine is installed in the Singapore data center of us, but you don't have access to it because you only get to have the IP address of it and the key value pair that you have requested. And using these things, you can access the virtual machine. That is the most that you can do. So this is how the entire concept of virtual machines will work. And if you go back to the initial slide, what happened with DevOps? The efficiency is increased. Instead of 1 acre land that is being wasted here, that only the family that is using require half-acre of land, and the half-acre is going unused. Similarly, if Amazon did not come up with this concept, okay, what would happen is their Mumbai data center would be at most used by 100 people, right? Because there are 100 physical servers, so they can only share this 100 physical servers with 100 teams or 100 individual user groups. But instead, by using the concept of virtual machine, by using the concept of hypervisor, what Amazon has done is instead of 100 people or 100 teams, now these virtual machines can be used by millions of users. That is where the hypervisors and virtual machines have improved the efficiency and the concept of servers, right? So this is a new leap that has happened. If you go back 20 years or 30 years, the concept of virtual machine was not there. So everybody used to have their physical servers. Even if you look at your laptop, or even if you look at your servers, right? So today on my laptop, I can install a virtual machine. Oracle provides Oracle VirtualBox. Like you can install your Oracle VirtualBox on your personal laptop, and you can share this virtual box with other people, like in your family members who are under the same, who are using the same Wi-Fi. What you can say is, okay, I'm using my laptop, you can use my virtual machine. Both of them, what will happen is both you and your brother, or both you and other family member can use your same laptop at once. They are using the virtual machine, you are using the laptop. So this is how the concept of virtualization has improved the regular day-to-day process. I hope the concept is clear. And in case you have any questions, do put that in the comment section. And as I mentioned, I'll also come live once in a week, so that if you have any questions that I'm not able to answer through the comment section, I'll definitely pick that question and I'll explain that question for you. I'll answer that question for you. And like every time, there is a small request that if you know somebody who are not following our videos, and if they are interested to learn DevOps, please share these videos with them so that larger audience are benefited from these videos. And if you like this video, please click on the like button. If you have any feedback, good or bad, definitely put them in the comment section. I'll reply to each and every comment. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe my channel, Abhishek Veeramalla. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.